Frankenstein, a simplified summary. Chapter 1. The Ambitious Scientist. Victor Frankenstein was a bright young man from Geneva, Switzerland, who loved science. From a young age, he was curious about the mysteries of life and death. As he grew older, his fascination with science turned into an obsession. He decided to study at a university in Ingolstadt, Germany, where he could learn more about chemistry and natural philosophy. At university, Victor became deeply interested in the idea of creating life. He wanted to unlock the secrets of life and death, and he was determined to create a living being from dead matter. He spent months gathering body parts from graveyards and slaughterhouses, working alone in his dark laboratory. Chapter 2. The monster is born. After many long nights of work, Victor finally succeeded. Using a combination of chemicals and electricity, he brought his creation to life. But when the creature opened its eyes, Victor was horrified. Instead of the beautiful being he had imagined, he saw a monstrous figure with yellow eyes and pale, stitched-together skin. Terrified by what he had done, Victor ran away from his laboratory and tried to forget about the creature. However, the monster was alive and left the lab, confused and alone. Victor fell ill from the shock and was cared for by his friend Henry Clerval. Chapter 3. The Monster's Struggles. The monster wandered through the countryside, trying to understand the world around him. Everywhere he went, people were afraid of him and attacked him because of his frightening appearance. He soon realized that he was different from everyone else and began to feel lonely and angry. The monster found a small, isolated cottage where a poor family lived. He secretly observed them for months, learning to speak and read by watching them. The more he learned, the more he realized how different he was. He longed for companionship, but knew that no one would ever accept him. Chapter 4. The Monster's Request. The monster eventually confronted Victor, angry and desperate. He told Victor about the suffering he had endured and demanded that Victor create a female companion for him, someone who would not judge him for his appearance and who would share his loneliness. The monster promised that if Victor granted his request, he would disappear into the wilderness and never bother humanity again. Reluctantly, Victor agreed and began working on the second creature. But as he neared completion, he feared that creating another monster would only lead to more misery. In a fit of panic, Victor destroyed the female creature before bringing her to life. The monster, who had been watching, was furious. He swore revenge on Victor, vowing to make him suffer as much as he had suffered. Chapter 5. A Tragic Chain of Events. The monster kept his promise. He began to target Victor's loved ones. First, he killed Victor's younger brother, William, framing an innocent woman for the murder. Then he killed Henry Clerval, Victor's best friend. Finally, on the night of Victor's wedding to his beloved Elizabeth, the monster murdered her as well. Devastated by the loss of his family and friends, Victor became obsessed with finding and destroying the monster. He chased the creature across Europe and into the icy Arctic. Chapter 6. The Final Confrontation. In the frozen wilderness, Victor and the monster confronted each other. Both were exhausted, but neither was willing to give up. As they battled, Victor realized that his obsession with creating life had brought nothing but misery and death. Victor eventually collapsed from exhaustion and died, leaving the monster alone in the cold. The monster, now filled with regret and sorrow, decided to end his own life. He disappeared into the icy wasteland, intending to build a funeral pyre and burn himself to death.